Good Sunday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gillaway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports, and we are live from the Orchard Street studio. And this is our high school hoops weekly recap show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts, along with our special opening guest, as soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show, our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. And they are Capital Region Insurance Agency, Payor Apparel, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, the Tire Mart, American Legion Post 272, the Robert H. Hoke Robert H. Hoke American Legion Post 272, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Hoffman Ford, Tonino's Pizza, and Sam Hartley Decking. Thank you once again to these great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area's student athletes. How about upcoming next week? Our opening guest. This is another treat, man. We have really done well with opening guests, fellas. And next week we have that man right there, Jason Fisher from Devon Prep. 11 years in. He doesn't look old enough to have 11 years in, does he, Dave? But he's been around for a while, and two or three state championships, at least two or three. And we're excited to have him. And then we're trying to reschedule Rick Perez too, and we will get him in here. He was supposed to join us, I think, 2 weeks ago, and he ended up getting Eagles tickets and for the game that they lost, incidentally. So he probably should have just joined us on the show. But anyway, Rick's a friend of ours and a friend of the show, and he will come in and be a great guest for us for sure. So a lot of the photos that we use are compliments of Penn Live photographers, Penn Live Patriot News. We really appreciate the opportunity to use some of their photos for our show. And we also want to talk about something that we've been just kind of mentioning on a weekly basis here, and that's prostate cancer awareness. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2022. I had my prostate removed December 5th of just this past year, and I want to just make sure that the men out there, or the loved ones of the men out there, are having or staying ahead of this and having their PSAs done. It's just a simple blood test. You go in, you get a PSA, and that's where it starts. And there's a better chance that you won't have cancer than that you will. But I just think that everybody should know what's going on with them in their body. And 1 of 7 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. And when should men get screened? If you're a healthy, average risk white male at 50, and age 45 for the higher risk white males, or the African Americans, or anyone with family history. African Americans are almost twice as likely to develop prostate cancer and almost 2.5 times more likely to die of prostate cancer. So it's recommended they initially are tested between 5 to 10 years before white men of the same age. And I have a lot of friends, a lot of black friends, and I know a lot of my friends who are watching this show. And guys, whatever race you are, whatever age you are, if you're in that 45 to 50 year range, please get checked for prostate cancer. So, all right. So that's about it. Thanks for sitting through that, guys. It's just something that I kind of feel, and it's not about me. I say it every week. It's about you. It's about the people out there that are hearing the message. So, hey, this is exciting. We have a second-year head coach from York William Penn, and we booked him about 3 weeks ago, and we had 4 in a row booked with him and last week's guest and next week's guest. And I said, look at this lineup, man. Look at these 4 coaches that we got for this little corner store podcast. So it's Kerry Glover from York High, and his team's playing very well recently. And there's a lot of excitement around the school and around the basketball program. So there he is, Kerry Glover. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. How you guys doing?
Doing well. I've been following your team. I saw you play 2 or 3 Saturdays ago. I was over going to watch you play East High.
Okay.
And it was a good game. I mean, you guys kind of blew it open at the end, but it was a very athletic game, fun game to watch. And I actually had an opportunity I was the public address announcer kind of by accident. I was going to just sit there and watch the game, and the guy called off. And I'm saying this for a reason. So I had a chance to sit front and center for that game and just watch you guys in action. And man, it just looked like, that was probably one of the games where I don't know how much, if you'd agree, that things kind of turned for you guys, a few weeks ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. But that looked like, if that's the case, one of those games that kind of helped you push you in the right direction. Was that the case, you think?
Yeah. We've had some guys who were busy this past off season. So I'm sure we're not alone. A lot of teams may feel like they get off to a kind of a slow start, so to say. But for me, I always tell my guys, it's a journey. You never want to be playing your best basketball in the beginning of December or the middle of December. And for us, it was just gradually taking the steps to getting where we need to be. And we feel like with us, for our team, we're entering the last week of our regular season schedule this week. I'm supposed to have Southwestern tomorrow night, which that's not going to happen due to the weather.
Right.
And then we have Spring Grove on Wednesday, and we go to Exeter on Thursday. That's the 29th is our final game. Then from there we just get prepared for our county playoffs. So for us it was, let's make sure this is where we need to be at each point of the season, and I think we're turning the corner, making the positive strides.
Good. And the reason I mentioned that I was able to sit at the scores table is because I sat next to your scorebook keeper.
Okay.
A woman. I wish I remember her name. Really nice woman.
Miss Vicky
Okay,
Lane.
that's right. Yeah. So about midway through the second quarter, I said, "Vicky, your number one is really, really good." It turns out it was Nasir Barnes, definitely one of the top players in the state. I'm not talking about locally. I'm talking about statewide. This guy's incredible. And I said, "Man, is he ever a wonderful point guard or player?" And she said, "Joe, he's just as wonderful a young man as he is a basketball player." And she sung or sang his praises. She said, "You would not believe how awesome a young man he is." So tell us a little bit. We're going to let you talk about the whole team. It's not all about Nasir, but tell us a little bit about Nasir Barnes.
Nas is a special kid. He's a different kid. He doesn't like hang with the large crowds. He's not real outgoing. He likes to stay with 2 or 3 people. Is in a small inner circle, and he just loves to be in the gym. There's days where we play on the weekend, and we may have a 10:30, 11 o'clock walkthrough, and he's in the gym at 7 a.m., 8 a.m., working for an hour, then coming to walk through, going home, getting himself together, and coming back to catch the bus to go to the game. And then he steps out on the court, and, the people see he's averaging 30 points a game this year, about 7 assists, 4 steals, 4 rebounds. And people just look at, his scoring ability and not understanding that how many hours he puts in. He puts in hours after hour after hour, just trying to perfect his craft. He's a gym rat. And I have to tell him, "Hey, I need you to tone it down a little bit. We got a game."
Right.
we got 3 games in 4 days or 5 days. Get some shots up, but I don't go through a full workout. And he can't help himself but to push himself. He loves the game. Very respectful, and he's a great teammate.
What a blessing for all of you.
Yes.
A blessing to have him as a player, as a teammate, as a classmate in the school. So that's wonderful. How about Dave Berman? Bring you in, buddy.
Coach, what more can you say? I know you have a lot of respect for the team you coached before, Columbia. So great experience. You're originally from York. So tell us about growing up in the White Rose City, as they call
it. Just my time here in York. Both of my parents. My mother is actually from Columbia, and so my ties in the Columbia community start there. But growing up in York, been in York my entire life. York City School District, class of 2001. So we've had a lot of success stories come from William Penn and my class. Our newly elected mayor, Sandy Walker, was a classmate of mine whole year growing up, and she's a class of 2001 graduate as well. Nasir's father, we grew up together. He was a classmate of mine. So all of our community ties, just trying to bring back the the feel in the program of where year in and year out, everyone knows what to expect and they know what type of product they're going to see on the floor was something that was real big to me. It felt good going to Columbia and being able to turn the program around and very rich tradition, a lot of great players and coaches throughout the history of Columbia. And me being able to have play a small part in that was huge for me. But coming back home was always something that I wanted to do, and I was just fortunate and blessed to be able to have the opportunity of leading the program.
John
Great
Velios.
history out there in York. The Bearcats, William Penn goes way back. I was a radio announcer out there from 80 to 84. I went to York College, 76 to 80. I'm pretty old. I'll be 68 years old, but it's been a heck of a career, and a lot of it in York. And I know that. How's my man Clovis Gallen doing these days?
He's doing well. He actually came to our game last week, and me and Clovis and myself, we've coached together for some years while we were in our younger days when his sons were younger, doing the AAU for the York Ballers, and just always had the opportunity. We played together in the Bonnie Grimes Summer League as we were, young adults, and still had the time and the energy to get out there and play. So our ties go back. Clovis is doing well.
John?
Coach, welcome. Pleasure to have you here with us tonight. We heard you talk about Nas a little bit. Tell us about the chemistry and the dynamics of this year's team. And is there a leader? Is it Nas? Is it someone else? Can you tell us a little bit more about this team?
Yeah. So our team, we've had a group leadership, so to say. It's been done by committee. In terms of the work ethic, obviously that's Nas. But Nas isn't he's not real vocal. The only time he gets vocal is during the heated moments in a game because he wants his teammates to understand how important it is to compete at a high level. But
Right.
during the daily practices, Nas isn't vocal. He's very quiet. He works hard. He listens, but he's a very quiet kid.
You can't force that role on a player.
Yes, you can.
They are who they are, and he's
They
contributing in his own ways at a very high level. So
Yep.
sometimes a teammate needs to step up and be that vocal leader, right, Coach?
Yes, indeed. And that was something that when he first came to us last season, I knew the type of talent that he was. I've known him forever. Youth League, AAU. I coached against him his freshman year when he was at York Suburban. And I was still at Columbia. We had played then. So, I watched his growth over the years, but he was never a vocal kid. So I wanted that to be him because for me it was, hey, if you're the best player, I need you to be the vocal leader. But I also, once I got to know him on a personal level, I just knew it wasn't going to be him.
Right.
And I had to accept that and just allow him to lead in the way that he does with his work ethic and allow other guys to follow suit of that. So I have some other guys who are vocal. Elijah Minter is a kid who he is probably the most vocal person on our team. He is very, very underrated, very overlooked, and he plays a vital role. He's the guy who sets the tempo every practice of the season. And for him, it was understanding that I may not be the leading scorer. I may not be the guy who's in a lot of the headlines, but Coach is right. Now, once he bought into that, our team start to take off a little more. And
I like the
that
Shields.
was key.
How about the Shields?
The Shields is He is vocal in the locker room. He's a in the locker room guy. Once we step on the floor, he's not real vocal. He loves to play the game.
He's a smooth player for his size. He's 6'8".
Yes.
I think he's all of 6'8".
Yeah.
But he makes his free throws. I mean, I'm telling
Yeah.
you something you already know. But
yes,
just a really smooth player. You know, he's got like center size for
Yes.
high school, but he's between a 3 and a 4 in the way he can navigate around the court on the offensive end.
Yes, yeah. So for Brandon, he has he's not the traditional big, even though he may have
Right.
the size. He wants to be out on the perimeter a lot more, and he can do that. But for high school basketball, you have to give up some of yourself to gain more of each other. And for our team to be at our best, we need him making an impact on the interior. And once he does that, now it's like, okay, hey, you're doing this, you're setting the tone there. Now I'll let you gravitate out to the 3-point line and showcase what you can do. But I don't need that to be the only thing that you're doing, because we won't be at our best.
Right. Dave Berman.
Yeah, hell of a schedule. Went up against Rick Perez. You saw what they did yesterday, Reading at Camden. Mount Zion Prep, you beat them. 83-68. Central York, a lot of, I know that you don't play West York, but they're having an unbelievable year.
Yes.
And Red Lion, good old Butch Weiniger. You old heads remember Butch Weiniger, right? And
Minnesota Twins, catcher for the Twins.
Yeah, and Scott Fitzke, Penn State, went to Red Lion. So unbelievable sketch. And you played my buddy Bobby Miller in Upper Darby. And that was a close game too, and they're one of the better District 1 6A teams. So yeah, let's talk about
it. Our schedule, like we want to make sure that we're not just quote unquote York County good team, and that's I know that's always the knock. When you're in York County, it's okay. Well, they're just York County good. And then you had obviously the recent success of Central York, and they were able to show that teams from York County can win quality games and beat quality opponents outside of the division. And for York High, that was what York High was always about. Like we show up and we play anybody, we play anywhere. And for me, it was just let's get back to that level. Coach Gallen did a tremendous job during his time as the leader of the program for 8 years. And for me, it was, okay, let me take a look at what some things that he did right and build on top of that. And just add my own twist. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just add my own twist to it and make my own imprint on the program. And for me, again, coaching on the AAU scene for so many years, like you can't control who you play. You show up and you play whoever you get matched up against. So for me, being the leader of this program, it's like, hey, these are the teams that we are going to see in districts and states. Let's see these teams during the regular season, and we'll win some, we'll lose some, but as long as we're learning, it's going to be beneficial for my guys.
Well put.
Played Hazleton. There you go. There's another tough one. Who got Roman Catholic to go up there. Anyway, your brothers. So Kevin, head coach of the girls, and they're 11-7, and your other brother, Coach Moore, York Country Day, and they're loaded up in single A.
Yes. We're basketball fanatics. Always have been, and always have. Our sibling rivalries growing up. So it was just the competitive nature in us always drove us towards coaching. And, I'm just happy that we all have the opportunity to lead programs and make our mark.
John?
Coach, you have 2 district championships at Columbia, right?
Yes.
That's got to be one of your goals with this year's team, I'm sure. What teams do you think you're going to have to play through to get to that championship?
Well, I think the 6A field is 2 things. I think it's loaded with talent.
It's loaded,
and loaded with good coaches. And the flip side is I also think that it's wide open this year.
Right.
So it's just about us playing our best basketball over the next few weeks, making sure that guys are healthy. For me, that's the big thing when you get down to this late stretch of the year. The sickness bug has hit a lot of programs over the last 2 weeks. We've been fortunate to stay away. Our girls program got hit a week and a half ago, and I was just hoping none of our guys caught it
Right.
from being around anyone in school and what have you. And then just the physical health as well, on the court injuries and things like that. Just making sure that we tone it down a little bit at practice, but it's still competitive enough not to lose our edge. But obviously you have Redline, really good program.
Who you
Very
just
well
beat by
coached.
19. I think you put 93 up on them, right? 93-74.
Yes, we did. Yes, we
Yeah.
did. But that's we played them. We played them 4 times last season.
Wow.
Was 2 times in the regular season, county playoffs, and then first round of districts. As they were the 8 seed, we were the 9 seed. You have Central Dauphin, who obviously went to the district title game last season and returned a lot of pieces back from that team. And
Everybody
other
but
guys,
Fletcher, I think. Just about everybody but Fletcher.
everyone but Fletcher. And they got some other pieces in. Some other guys grew up and matured, and they're very, very, very well coached team. You have Cumberland Valley, who they never go anywhere. They're very well coached.
Great coach.
The players just keep coming up. Guys graduate, but the identity, the culture, as coaches love to say, culture doesn't graduate. So they're always in the mix. Muhlenberg, Reading,
Muhlenberg.
always in the mix. Yep. So
I'd love to see.
obviously, I'm always watching the power rankings. I'm always watching the field and seeing how other
You
teams
know your
do.
competition too, I could tell.
Yes, of course. I'm always. I think everybody that's in number 1 down to 18. I think I've watched at least 4 or 5 games of every single team.
Wow.
That would be Central Dauphin down to Mechanicsburg.
Yes. I know Mechanicsburg, they're like 17, 18.
Right,
I'm always looking, I'm always watching, because you never know. You never know how things may shape up. That last week and a half, 2 weeks of the season gets real crazy.
So let's kind of.
I was going to ask him about the Harrisburg Cougars, who
we're going to ask him about that right now.
I hope they can get into the district playoffs. They have not been there, believe it or not, since 1990. What was it? 2020 was last year. They made the district tournament. So hopefully, Damone, they're turning it around.
You read my mind, Dave. Here's the question I want to tie Dave's question into, or kind of like the issue. We've seen over the years, and more so maybe in Pennsylvania. I don't know if this is nationwide or region-wide, but a lot of the inner city schools have not had the success that they once did. I'm 59 years old. When I grew up, McCaskey was good. York was good. Harrisburg was good. Steel High was good. These are more urban schools that I'm Allentown, Allen. I don't know if you remember that, I'm sure you do. Reading, of course, and they haven't really gone anywhere, but you're an AA coach at a high level. You run your own AAU program, right?
Yes.
What do you and we're starting to see things kind of come back around, I think. What do you see as the reason why, up here, our best 2 6A programs are Central Dauphin and Cumberland Valley, and it's been that way for a handful of years. They used to be the doormats.
Yes.
Now Harrisburg's kind of like Dave said. Dave, thanks for bringing that up. They're kind of clawing their way back. They lost Kurt Smallwood, which is a huge loss. But do you see things maybe the tide turning a little bit back towards some of the inner city schools? Getting theirs again, be able to replant that flag.
Yes. So I believe it was last year. A reporter from the Lancaster newspaper did an article. They reached out to the schools from the powerhouse inner city programs from the glory days: York High, Harrisburg, Reading, McCaskey. And for me, I felt this way then, and obviously I still feel the same way. For our area, District 3, to be really respected amongst everyone in the state, we need those programs to
Absolutely.
do well.
Mhm.
We need those programs to do well. The history behind them, the energy and the excitement. You'll get some good environments from a basketball standpoint with certain matchups, but when those programs are playing well and doing well, it's a different feeling. The atmosphere is electric, and obviously the school side of things, in terms of when you have families thinking about safety and other issues, when the incident happens, it gets really highlighted, so to say, when it happens in the inner city programs, the inner city schools. And for me myself, professionally, I'm a local real estate agent, but I'm also a school safety officer back at Columbia School District. And the school safety side of things is very important. Every parent wants to know that their child is going to be safe when they walk out the door and they walk into their school. And again, problems happen everywhere. They get
You
highlighted.
took the words out of my mouth. I was
Yep.
just going to say that
They
there's incidents at the hills up
every
high on the hill out in the
Yep.
suburbs. They have
Yep.
incidents too, you know?
Yep. And it gets highlighted and portrayed a certain way that made a lot of people move and leave. So when they leave now, the athletes, the players coming up through the programs and staying there and playing there is one side of it, and then the other side is the prep schools and things of that nature coming in and pulling kids.
Hmm.
So it definitely impacts the overall product and quality of teams that the inner city schools can put out. But I believe, again, Nasir Barnes is a prime example. He's a prime example of being from the city. Yes, he went to York Suburban, but he youth is during his youth years and what have you. He was playing for the Boys Club Raiders, the inner city program from York,
Hmm. Right.
and trying to navigate and get a different high school experience led to him going to York Suburban in his later middle school years and high school, and then obviously he left. But when he came back, his choice was like to, which caught me by surprise because I had no idea of him leaving and coming back home. His choice wasn't to go to Suburban; it was to go to York High to make an impact on the city.
Right.
And for him being that young and understanding what that can mean for the next 5-10 years is again shows you how special of a person that he is. And I think he just received his first Division 1 offer today, this
Yeah.
morning, and
All that.
which is huge, because it's like, okay, now it can happen, from the University of, I believe, the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Just received his first Division 1 offer, and now people are seeing, it's been quite some time since that has taken place from York High, di- directly a direct result of his hard work, and on the court and in the classroom. But people, it's good for our community to see that taking place and say, hey, we don't have to be here for a little bit and then leave and go to a prep school or go somewhere else. We can stay home, and our player can still reach his goals that he has. So I think it's huge because again, our area needs it.
Yep. Yep.
At least you're 2 hours away from the Philadelphia Catholic League. Unlike
Yes.
Dave. That's a great point.
I'm
All
right
right,
part of it, man.
Coach Glover, thank you. And the thing I was going to add, and I think you kind of alluded to it though, is that players like Nasir Barnes, he'll make the boys and girls in your community excited about being Bearcats, right?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
the way it works.
That's the
I
way.
want to be just like that guy. I'm 8 years old. I'm 12 years old. I'm not going anywhere because I want to be like Nasir Barnes. And, what a testament to, what one player, and you have more than him, but can do for a school and for a community. So, well, we're excited for you, Coach. Thank you very much for joining us. Sorry to pull you away from football.
That's all right. I'm a 49ers fan, so I can miss a little bit of football.
All right. So best wishes. John and I, we like to go to games together. We'll try to get out and watch you here over the next couple of weeks. All right.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
That's
I appreciate
the second year. York High, William Penn, head coach Kerry Glover. Thanks very much.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, man. I'll tell you what. We are never let down with these coach guests, are we? What a great conversation. What a smart conversation. And when I said to him that, we're excited up here. I'm on a text with Steve Little and Dwan Lee and Mike Pilsitz and Tim Cater, and we text every day, and we talk about that issue with a lot of the inner city, the urban schools, the players gravitating away from the cities and all that. And that's something that's kind of near and dear to my heart. And I went to school in the suburbs, but I still want to see the York Highs, the J.P. McCaskies, the Harrisburgs, the Steel Highs. I want to see them flourish, and I want to see them do well and put out great student athletes. So anyway, guys,
Joe, you've been talking about York High all year, and that they're going to be a tough.
I don't know why. I just kind of locked into them early. Yeah, you're right, John.
And they're sort of like, just like we were talking about Reading peaking at the right time. I think York High is sort of peaking at the right time. Hopefully for Coach and his team, that leads to some success here coming up in their York County tournament and in districts.
They could win. They're a candidate to win the districts. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to get ahead of anybody's myself or Coach Glover's self, but like he said, there's a bunch of really good teams. So let's jump in first and talk about the Mid-Penn Conference, as we typically do, and we'll start with the Commonwealth Division. And things are starting to kind of play out in the Commonwealth. And John and Dave, I think you both know that Central Dauphin beat Cumberland Valley Friday night, buzzer beater. Kind of like the tables were turned. Remember last year when D'Olimpio made the baseline jumper against Central Dauphin at Cumberland Valley?
Yeah.
And that's a tough loss for a team that goes into the other team's building and
Cumberland Valley was winning the whole game until that buzzer beater.
That was the only. They were up 13-0 out of the gate. I wasn't there. I was at the girls' game over at the Dome. But man, what a tough loss. What a testament to Coach Vespignani, though. That he still has lots of players. I'm not trying to say he doesn't have talent, but that he was able to put together a game plan. Go into that building was loud. It was crowded. And and they did much more than just show up. They put themselves in a position that they could have easily won the game down the stretch. So
ironically, Jared D'Olimpio is now with Central Dauphin.
Correct. Yep. So
Isn't that crazy?
He won. He won
the winning team.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. He was on last year's winning team at the buzzer, or this year's winning team at the buzzer. Yeah. So I think we could kind of. Central Dauphin has Harrisburg, Altoona, and State College left. Realistically, they could probably lose two of those three. Harrisburg already beat them. State College lost to them in overtime. I think they probably can beat Altoona. Okay. They could probably beat all three teams, but I'm saying worst case scenario, they're 1-2, and they have a 3-game lead, as you see there, over Chambersburg and Cumberland Valley and State College. So we've been drawing the line under, who's left and who's not. And I think it's going to be Central Dauphin. And I think last year they shared the Commonwealth division title. Cumberland Valley went to the Mid-Penn Championship by virtue of sweeping Central Dauphin. But Mid-Penn has a rule. If you finish with the same record, Dave, you and I went through this years ago with Mifflin County in football. They share if you have this identical record, no matter head-to-head, they share. But I don't think Central Dauphin's going to share this year. I think they're going to be able to close it out there. So the one thing I noticed about Central Dauphin, and Coach Leonard was able to provide me with some stats earlier. They have 4 players averaging in double-digit scoring. Okay, That's kind of a big deal, man. You got Shakur Starling, Jelani Easter, Khalil Roberts, and Jared DeLimpio, all double-digit scoring. And then freshman Shaheem Starling averaging 7.5 points a game. I always say it's a coach's dream that you don't have one guy averaging 23 and then the next guy's averaging 8, and there's a lot of teams that are that way, So if your guy is
my miniature Kurt Rambis, the man with the glasses, Jackson Davenport,
hey man, he's playing well. John, you know who he is, right?
Yeah.
The Davenport kid. He gets lot of minutes. He gets a lot of minutes, man. And he was on the floor the other night, I'm pretty sure, when that game ended. And that means that coach trusts him being out there. And yeah, he's a good, really good player. So so that's the one thing kind of that I wanted to mention about CD, that they are balanced in scoring. They kind of take turns who's going to be the leading scorer on a given night, and it could be any of those four. Khalil Roberts is the player that made the little runner. He had to kind of alligator arm it. It was a mid-range baseline shot. He didn't have much time left, and it was just a smooth. He just kind of released it. It wasn't even, it was like half a shot. But anyway, let's talk about Harrisburg now, since we were talking. Started 0-3. Dave, you're a Harrisburg guy. I am too. I root for him. Then they won 7 straight. Now they've lost 4 of 6. So they're still.
They were hanging the other night.
I don't know. Some of those losses, Joe, I don't know if they've had some of their starters out. I remember the one loss, they had 2 starters out. Then a couple games ago, they had one of their main guys out.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but they're going to need all of those guys if they're going to have any success. They're going to make they're like 14th or 15th now. They're 15th in the power rankings.
Right.
But they have
we were at the game where they beat State College really easily, and they have 3 main guys. Brown,
Reese,
Arp,
Brown, Arp, and Lewis. Yeah,
Lewis. Yeah,
they're all very good. I said this weeks ago when they beat Central Dauphin. I said, man, it just wasn't a shock to me. And people go, what do you mean it's not a shock? I said, their top 3 are as good, probably, as any other 3 in the area. Now, there is some fall off after their 3. They don't go deep like a Kirk Smallwood team did, playing 9 to 11 guys and all that. That's not the way they roll. Coach Maxwell relies a lot on Art, Brown, and Lewis. So, but yeah, we certainly wish them well moving forward, finishing off the season.
Joe,
yes.
Can't believe they only have 4 games left, Harrisburg. They're missing 2 games.
Well,
that could hurt.
You heard coach from York here. He only has 3 games left. I mean, they're 12-6, I believe.
Yeah.
What's Harrisburg's record right now, Dave?
9-7. They should have 6 games left.
Oh yeah. Well, at least 5.
Yeah, a full schedule's 22 games.
Right. So, you're looking Central Dauphin, Carlisle, Steel High, Tuna, Harrisburg. Easily could win 3 out of 4. Central Dauphin will be tough, but we'll see.
Central Dauphin could be a little more difficult. They're playing a lot better. They added DeLimpio. So, all right. So let's look at the Keystone Division here, guys. There it is, and look at that, man. How often do we see this late in the season 3 teams with only 1 loss? That's the
rubber's going to hit the road this week, right?
You better believe it. Let's Hershey plays Milton Hershey and Cedar Cliff. Speaking of the rubber meeting the road, John, Milton Hershey plays Hershey, then Central Dauphin East non-league game. I think that's on Wednesday, and then Mechanicsburg. Mechanicsburg not having a great season, not as talented as they have been, but they can put up a game and beat you. And then Cedar Cliff plays Redland, a rivalry game, and Hershey. So yeah, we're this show next week, we're going to have a lot of a different kind of perspective on how this Keystone division is going to play out.
I think it's going to be Hershey or Milton Hershey, but Cedar Cliff does have a shot. But I do definitely think that those 2 teams are better than Cedar Cliff. But that's my opinion.
Hershey's kind of the cream, and that's easy to say. I mean, they were state runners up last year. Great coach, and that's not to discount Milton Hershey's coach, but I think I think Coach Paul Blackburn with some really good returning talent, he's going to be able to get it done. I'm just kind of supporting what you said, John. And if there's any Milton Hershey people out there, I'm not rooting against you. I'm just saying that John and I'll speak for both of us. We anticipate Hershey probably winning this division. So let's move on to the Capital Division, and big win for Trinity over McDevitt. I think they beat them by like 19 or 21, John.
So they split for the season, and so it's looking like they're going to be co-champs if everything plays out how it should be, right?
Yeah. And McDevitt's power rankings
4-53 over the weekend. 74.
Yeah.
And Joe, when I gave you that score, you were
I thought it was a misprint. Yeah, I said, I don't think you're lying to me, Dave. I said, I just don't understand how that happened. In fact, I called or text John. I said the same thing to him. I said, I'm just going to give you this score, but I just don't know if this could be right or not,
Yeah, and McDevitt's power ranking fell off dramatically. They went from like a 0.822 to a 0.783.
They went from like number 1 to number 6, I think.
Yeah. So,
but they're still well ahead of Trinity.
About 0.2, 0.02.
And then
Trinity's at 0.762, and McDevitt is at 0.783. So
right. McDevitt was supposed to play at help me out, Dave.
Holy Ghost Prep.
Yesterday it was Holy Ghost Prep's
senior night.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened. But
so Holy Ghost Prep now they need 2 games because the Octorara game was canceled with them.
McDevitt canceled the game on Friday night, is what I saw posted by Holy Ghost Prep.
Yeah, they were looking for another game to fill in for it. Yeah, and we don't know why. I mean, I hope it wasn't because of the weather, because the game was supposed to be played like I think early yesterday.
It said 3 in the afternoon, then it was rescheduled to 4:30.
So they still would have been done by 6, and then
I don't know
Holy
how far.
Ghost is they're a 5A school.
They're like 12-2 on the season, I think.
Yeah, and they beat some really darn good teams, and they went out to California, Arkansas, they're all over the place. So they're supposed to have Bristol. I already announced a Bristol game against Chester Charter. They'll win that game. Calvary Christian, they'll beat them. Tensbury, they'll beat them. William Tennant, and then Penwood. That'll be a tough game. But Holy Ghost needs 2 games, guys. So anybody out there, if you need a game, contact Holy Ghost.
Yeah, you don't have to play 22 games, but I'm sure they don't. I'm sure they want to like at least try to make one up, at least one of the 2.
Right.
So anyway, how about let's look this before we move on. Susquehanna Township, they're just reeling, and boy, I'm not saying that out of any level of disrespect. This is what we do. We talk about local basketball. After finishing 16-10 last year, really good season for Susquehanna Township. They're 4-13. They've lost 8 of 9, with the only win over 4-13 Camp Hill. They just lost to Steel High by 21 on Friday night. They had beaten Steel High the middle of December by 26. So, man, I don't know what's going on.
I mean, they're near and dear to my heart. I'm a Susquehanna graduate, so very disappointing season for them. Because I remember a few weeks ago we were talking that they were looking better, and a few weeks later now they've lost almost all their games and just plummeted.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. They had a bunch of guys back from last year. They made a coaching change.
They had Mackay Slappy and Sloan Marks was the freshman last year. He's a sophomore. He had a really good one of the top freshmen in the area last year. So
yeah, we had their coach on the show, Joe, and I think he was
Cloud.
Was Avery? We made him a coach of the year or co-coach of the year.
Avery Cloud.
Yeah, and then so anyway, we don't want to beat that issue, but we got to talk about it because it's not a team that I expected to be 4-13 and struggling to beat 2A schools.
You're in the know out there about this more than me. You get all kinds of inside scoop.
Yeah, we do. So
I know
it's still the same here. Greencastle looking better than Northern York and East Pennsboro, but how many weeks in a row we just said, look, man, we're going to stick with Northern York and East Pennsboro in terms of giving them an opportunity to win this division. And let's see who has whom left. Greencastle has Shippensburg and Gettysburg this week. Northern York has East Pennsboro and Middletown. So that's, speaking of the rubber meeting the road, that's kind of a, Northern York wins that game. They're staying a game behind Greencastle, as long as Greencastle beats Ship. And if they don't, then they're going to drop to 3 losses and give Greencastle a better opportunity to close things out. And then East Pennsboro has Northern York and Waynesboro. So shout out and to our friend Coach Ty Sabercool, and get some wins. We try not to play favorites, but Ty's my buddy, and he's he's our friend. He was with us all last year, and it's his first year, so I'm excited for him and his guys. I guess I can say that.
How about a District 6 6A update and the brackets up there?
I don't have their brackets, but you can tell me what's going on up there.
Okay, well, District 6 6A, Mid-Penn, 2 are Mid-Penn Commonwealth, State College in Altoona. 1 is Mid-Penn Keystone. State College, it's a battle for the top spot. State College 10-7 overall, and Mifflin County is second, 6-10. Altoona is 4-12 in third place. So
that's not fair. Let me tell you why that's not fair.
2 teams, they're going to meet for the state. Altoona can still go because they don't have a 500 rule. So
Altoona plays a considerably tougher schedule than Mifflin County. Okay, so
Keystone is good. You said the top 3, pretty good.
Pretty good. The Commonwealth's a lot tougher.
Yeah.
So all things are not equal there, and they're not close to equal. Yeah, I mean Hershey's good. Milton Hershey's good. Those teams wouldn't be leading in the Commonwealth, and that. But anyway, we don't have to drag this out. But
right.
I know you're a Mifflin County guy, and
whoever. But here's the thing: it really doesn't matter. Like State College and Mifflin County will meet in the championship at a neutral site, so it doesn't matter. You would think State College would host it, but it'll be at a neutral site. So it's something to keep an eye on, and it is a tournament, even though it's only 3 teams. And
right,
and then the winner of that goes to a sub-region against maybe the 3rd-ranked team in the state, Erie McDowell. That'd be interesting, but we'll see what happens. Just want to give you.
So let's just let's congratulate the lone Catholic girls coach Jerry Eckenrode. We're allowed to talk about girls basketball refer to it on this show. 700th career win against New Oxford, who's a really good team, 6A team. And Coach Eckenrode, he's one of the great coaches in the area, one of the good guys in the area. So we're happy for him. I love watching him coach. He's got kind of like that gruff, never has a smile on his face, or rarely does. He looks kind of like he's always grimacing. And have you ever seen him, Dave, John? Have you ever seen him coach?
Yeah.
Arms crossed, just like
4 states.
He's incredible. He's incredible.
Yeah. He's an Altoona guy too. He's went to Bishop Guilfoyle High School, graduated 1969. I did a big salute on my page that you shared, Joe.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about just mention this. That's Jelani Easter. He's a senior at Central Dauphin. He has 950 career points. So, boy, John, that could be a jinx to put that up there, huh?
They've got plenty of games and districts and states.
Right. So
wish him luck. That's it.
Yeah, we wish you well, Jelani. Before we move on, here's something I forgot to mention, guys. This is exciting. We have Jeff Doherty from PAD3 Hoops. This should have been mentioned at the beginning of the show, but we can put it in now. He's joining us next week. I reached out to him early in the season, before we started this show, and I invited him on. And he said he was busy, or I forget what it was, but I said, please, reach back out to me if you can make it on, if you'd like to. And he did, like 2 weeks ago. So Dave and I could speak for Dave Berman here and myself. We love his site because it's just the facts. It's so easy to navigate through, right, Dave?
Is he on Facebook?
I don't know. It's just Jeff Doherty.
I don't know how he gets the scores updated that fast. I mean, you can't rely on other media sites to get many scores, and when you need a score, you can get it off that site
Well,
pretty
we're
easily.
gonna ask him about that.
Yeah.
So
You got to get a lot of support. Yeah, that's great.
So let's move on to District 3 power rankings. We're going to throw this up again, but we don't cover any teams in A, 1A. So we're going to move on to 2A, and Steel High sitting right where they were last week. That win over Susquehanna Township certainly helped, but they're still only, let's say that's 53 and 56 basically. So they're 0.04 down. And, what does that mean? It's hard to explain. I understand it, but to articulate it and try to explain it, I can't. But, we mentioned last week, guys, that Steel High has by far the tougher schedule than Greenwood. Greenwood's going to be playing smaller schools and have a better chance of winning games than Steel High. So, we just hope that first-year head coach Buzz Cable and his guys can win some games and get in there and have a chance to vie for a district championship. Trinity, number 1 in 3A, no surprise there. And
but Joe, going back to that, they're 2A, so the top 4 teams get in, right?
Yeah, thank you, John. The top 14. Yeah, I should mention that.
Now in 3A, the top
that's the top
six.
Top 6, yeah. And I'd be surprised if we saw any 2 teams outside of Trinity and Lancaster Mennonite. They're the cream, right, Dave?
Yeah, Lancaster Mennonite came down here and beat Chester by 2 points.
A 5A District 1 team, in their house. So yeah, that's a good win for
Chester,
Mennonite.
6A, yeah.
Oh, Chester 6A?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh, they're 5A in football, 6A in basketball. I stand corrected. Thank you. So I think we have another case of, there's 2 teams that are probably going to end up. We can say with a lot of certainty that it'll be Berks Catholic and Bishop McDevitt. And man, I'd pay good money to watch that game, John. Woo.
Yeah, I mean, Berks Catholic just jumped over McDevitt. McDevitt had that loss to Trinity by a lot, and then they had a tight game with Boiling Springs, I think, just recently, an 8-point win. So their power ranking went down.
Here, let me throw that up.
I can't wait to talk to you guys about District 1.
And then
Juanita's having a good year, Joe, but I mean, they don't think they play many tough teams. They're 14-3. Their power rating is way below first and second place.
I just have to shoot lights out, all game long to beat one of those teams, and then it still might not be good enough. So there's 5A Hershey at top. There's a lot of mid-Penn 5A schools. The ones that are right now qualifying top 16 are Hershey, Milton Hershey, Greencastle, East Pennsboro, Palmyra, Redland, and Northern York. Not in that order. Northern York's actually 10th. I mentioned them last, but yeah. So there's a lot of 5A schools that are going to qualify, and outside of that, probably not going to qualify would be Shippensburg, Middletown, Lower Dolphin, Gettysburg, and West Perry. So, we wish all those 5A schools well, and let's take a look at 6A. And Central Dauphin finally nudged past Central York. Central York lost 2 games in a row. They lost to they lost to Central Dauphin, and then they lost to Red Lion. And it was the first 2 games after Brooklyn Nace left. He was their stud, their best player, and he went off to college. And so they have to try to figure out how to live life without Brooklyn Nace. And, it's not going to be easy, but they still have plenty of players, plenty of good players left. This is a district championship defending team. And that's just the way things go these days, guys. These players, athletes leave early. And so, I agree with Coach Glover, though. I really like Reading now. I mean, Central Dauphin's got talent. Okay, we know that. But we just saw, Cumberland Valley took them down to the very, very last
They've won
second.
so many close games this year, Joe. I mean, that's a testament to them, but I mean,
Yeah, it's just when's the luck run out? I don't know if it's
Yeah.
luck. I shouldn't say luck, but when does the good fortune run out for Central Dolphins? So Central Dolphins, Central York, Muhlenberg, Reading.
Reading went down yesterday to Camden, New Jersey, and beat them by 11 points.
I think Reading's a team to beat right now. I just do. So anyway, for what that's worth. And Columbia, I was going to mention, they went from winning a district championship. They upset Trinity 2 years ago. They are last in the power rankings in 3A.
That's in 3A, yeah.
Dead last, yeah. Yeah.
So we got a lot of teams in the mid-Penn possibly qualifying for 6A, right, Joe?
Yeah, the teams right now, the 6A teams in the mid-Penn are Central Dauphin, Cedar Cliff, Cumberland Valley, Chambersburg, Central Dauphin East, and Harrisburg. Mechanicsburg's at 18, so they're just on the outside looking in. They still have a chance.
And like Dave said, Harrisburg hasn't qualified for districts since 2020, and I'm not sure how long it's been for CDE. So we wish them the best.
Yeah. Before we move things over to Dave and let Dave do his District 1 and District 12 report, let's see if there's any other interesting games that's worth mentioning. Well, the Trinity McDevitt game. Trinity beat McDevitt by 21. Reading over Muhlenberg. Reading had a great week. They beat Muhlenberg. Two great friends, Rick Perez and Matt Flowers, head coaches. They beat Muhlenberg by 6. And then they beat Camden by 11 yesterday. I watched that game. At least I think I watched the second half. Central Dauphin East, a big game Friday night. Here, let me throw this up. Do we know who that guy is? Elijah Cooper from Central. What a player he is, man. That guy could
career high 30 points, right?
Career high 34 Friday night against Harrisburg, and he eclipsed 1,000 career points back on December 16th, which we forgot to mention. So yeah, he's had a good month, basically a good 4 or 5 weeks, with the 1,000 point and then the career high 34, and that's a big win. East and Harrisburg, when it comes to sports, and I don't take this the wrong way, they don't like each other, and in the right kind of way. They're rivals. They don't want to win or lose. East doesn't want to lose to Harrisburg. Harrisburg doesn't want to lose to East. So it's a big win for Central Dauphin East. So that's going to do it for District 3 and Mid-Penn. Dave, what's going on down in District 1 land? District 1 and District 12 land.
All right, everybody's knocking each other out. You can see me clearly?
Yes, I can see you clearly.
I see you crystal clear also. Everybody in the Catholic League, it seems like anybody can beat anybody. Well, great to have Coach Fisher of Devon Prep with us next week. He's only won a couple of games this year, but if they can get into that 4A tournament, you never know after that schedule they play. You saw that was with West Catholic last year winning the state title.
Absolutely.
Beat anybody. District 1, I'm going to run down the 6A and 5A, the top 10. Okay, is that okay? And
yeah, sure.
This is just by the point system that they have down here. Abington is number 1. Methacton number 2. Plymouth White Marsh number 3. They had a tough time with Carver and Engineering of the Public League yesterday, 51-50. They won Plymouth White Marsh. Shows you anybody can beat anybody. Central Buck South is 4th, Souderton 5th, Garnet Valley and Delco 6th, Penwood 7th. Chester just beat them by 20. Chambersburg just beat Penwood by 18. How do you like that?
Wow.
Lower Merion, big win up at Liberty. They're in the mix in 6A. They're 8th. Coatesville 9th. They lost big, as you know, to a powerhouse. St. Benedict's by 30 yesterday, 35. And then Pennsbury comes in at number 10. That's 6A.
How can Coatesville, as good as they are, they're the 9th ranked. These are power rankings now. Man, there must be some good teams down there.
Well, it's pretty, you still got my Chester Clippers are 15th, and they've played a pretty tough schedule, 11-6. Top 24 teams go out of 40. It's too many for me.
Hey, Dave, Andrew Smith says, hello, Dave Berman. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but Andrew Smith, do you know him?
Does not ring a bell. Maybe
he's shouting you out here on our comments field.
Appreciate it. Yeah, 5A, Springfield Delco 17-1. You know, they went to the state semifinals in football, won the state championship in lacrosse last year. They're 17-1. They're number 1 in 5A. Penn Crest 16-2. They were that close to getting. It was them and Hershey that close to being in the state finals last year. It didn't happen. They lost in overtime to Goretti. Holy Ghost Prep is 3rd. Upper Dublin is 4th, and they're loaded. They're 16-3. Then Upper Moreland, Harriton, Springfield Township, Montgomery County, 7th, Hatboro Horsham, 8th, Marple Newtown, 9th. State champs beat your Trinity team in the lacrosse state final last year. A lot of lacrosse guys on that team. Academy Park coming in at number 10. So we'll see. It's we'll just, you know, I don't know. I think this is the year, though, just like a couple of years ago, I think it's one of the public schools can finally win a state championship, including here in Delaware County, and hopefully District 1. District 1 has had a boys basketball state title team since Lower Merion beat Chester in 2013.
14. Oh, 13. Okay.
13. Yeah, 14 was Newcastle. How do you like that? So,
okay.
And you've had four from District 3 boys teams.
Well, I don't know, 4 teams. Steel High had
mostly been Reading, right?
Reading 3 and Central York the other one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because Steel High's last one was 08.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, when I mean you guys, I'm at District 3. So
yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Dave. All right. Well, that's I think that's going to about do it, man. We just reached the 61-minute mark. I try to keep this between 45 to 60 minutes.
Right.
I could do it all night, but you guys are volunteers and you're my friends. I don't want to keep you locked in all night long. So there's football to watch. We want to thank Coach Kerry Glover from York William Penn once again. Got his Bearcats playing really good ball. Great guest. Really appreciate it. And we have Jason Fisher next week from Devon Prep. That's exciting.
It is, my man.
Can't wait to have him. And then we have Jeff Doherty from PA. Jeff's going to sit in with us he's going to be like a panelist because he knows his stuff. He probably knows his stuff as much as any of us do. So
I got to know where this guy's from.
We're going to find out all about Jeff next week. Okay? Because we love his website. I use it all the time. He's made my job a whole lot better. Yeah. So, John Velios, thank you very much. The voice of Delco, Dave Berman, we really appreciate it. Go enjoy some football. Have a great Sunday evening.
Right on.